All right, today we are going to pull back the curtain on the world of patents. We're going to follow the journey of a single idea, from that initial spark all the way to becoming a legally protected asset, not just in one place, but all across the globe.
You've been there, right? That light bulb moment hits, you've got a brilliant idea, something that could really change things. But then, almost instantly, that other thought creeps in. How do I stop someone from just taking it? Well, that one question, that's the entire reason the patent system even exists.
The tech you use every single day, I'm talking about the smartphone in your pocket or maybe those wild new foldable devices, it all started with drawings, just like these, submitted in a patent application. These simple lines on paper, they're the first step in building a powerful legal shield around an invention. Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll nail down what a patent actually is. Then, we'll check out the global rulebook. After that, we're going to zoom in on patenting in Africa and then get super specific with Uganda's framework. And finally, we'll tie it all together. Sound good? Let's go.
So let's start with the absolute basics. What is a patent, really? Because it's so much more than just a fancy certificate you hang on the wall. At its heart, it's a fundamental bargain, a deal between an inventor and all of society.
And the word itself actually gives us a big clue. Patent comes from a Latin phrase that means open letter. Think about that. It started as a public announcement from a king granting someone special rights. And today, it's pretty similar, a formal title from the government that protects your invention.
And this gets us to the absolute core of the whole system, the quid pro quo. It's Latin for something for something. Here's the deal. The inventor gives society a full, detailed disclosure of their invention so everyone can learn from it. And in return, society gives the inventor an exclusive, temporary right to control that invention. It's a trade.
So how long is temporary? Well, the international standard is 20 years from the day you file. 20 years. For 2 decades, the inventor gets to be in the driver's seat. That's a pretty powerful reason to go out and invent something new, right?
So what can you do with this right? Well, a patent gives you the power to exclude other people. You can stop them from making, using, selling, or even importing your invention without your permission. Now notice I said exclude. It's a right to prevent others from doing something. It's not necessarily a blank check to do it yourself. Other rules might apply. But that power to say no, that is what makes a patent so incredibly valuable.
But here's the thing. Great ideas don't care about borders. So how on earth do you create a system that works internationally? Well, that's where the global rulebook comes into play.
Now, protecting ideas is not a new concept. This goes all the way back to Venice in 1474. But for our purposes, the modern global system really stands on 2 massive pillars. The Paris Convention of 1883, which laid down the basic rules of playing fair, and the 1970 Patent Cooperation Treaty, which was a total game changer for filing around the world.
And who's the referee for all these international rules? That would be the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO for short. It was set up in 1970, and its whole job is to manage these treaties and make sure the global intellectual property system runs smoothly for everyone.
One of the most brilliant ideas from that Paris Convention is something called national treatment. It's actually a really simple rule about fairness. It says that member countries have to give inventors from other member countries the exact same rights they give their own citizens. No special treatment, no home field advantage. Everyone plays by the same rules.
Now, the engine of the modern system is the Patent Cooperation Treaty, the PCT, and it is a lifesaver for inventors. Instead of having to file dozens of separate, complex, and expensive applications in different languages, an inventor can file one single international application. Just one. And that starts the process for seeking protection in over 150 countries. It just streamlines everything.
Okay, so we've seen the big global picture. Now let's zoom in to the regional level, and we're going to focus on the framework used across a big part of Africa, ARIPO. The African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, or ARIPO, was set up back in 1976 to do for its members what the PCT does for the world, centralize things. Through an agreement called the Harare Protocol, it acts like a regional hub, letting inventors get protection in a bunch of member countries all through one single streamlined process. And the process is pretty straightforward. First, you file one application with ARIPO, and you just tick the boxes for the countries you want, like Uganda. Next, ARIPO's experts do a deep dive, a substantive examination to make sure your invention is truly new and clever.
Then, if it gets granted, that patent automatically becomes legally effective in all the countries you chose. And finally, each country still gets 6 months to object if there's a conflict with their local laws.
Okay, so we've gone from global to regional, and now we're bringing it all the way home to the national level. How does all this international and regional stuff actually get put into practice in Uganda?
In Uganda, the right to protect your invention is built on some really solid legal ground. I mean, it starts right in the Constitution, which protects your right to own property, and that includes intangible stuff like ideas. Then you have the main law, the Industrial Property Act, and the government agency that makes it all happen is the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, or URSB.
And here is where it all clicks into place. Uganda's Industrial Property Act is specifically designed to take those international treaties and make them the law of the land. For example, it takes that right of priority from the Paris Convention and puts it right into the act. This means if you filed a patent in, say, France, you have a year to file in Uganda and get to keep your original filing date. The global rule becomes local law. It's a seamless connection.
So after this whole journey from a global treaty all the way down to a local law, what is the big takeaway? What's the point of all this? The key thing to remember is that patents are so much more than just legal paperwork. They are the gears that drive progress. This entire system, the bargain, the international treaties, the regional offices, it's all designed for one purpose: to encourage scientific research and technological growth. By rewarding inventors for sharing what they know, the whole system pushes all of us forward. So we've seen the whole path, right? This incredible interconnected system that stretches from Geneva to Harare to Kampala, all designed to put a protective shield around a great idea. It's a framework built to turn imagination into reality. Which, of course, leaves just one final question for you. Now that you know how this system works, what great idea are you going to protect?